Stand at the end of your mat, feet together, mountain pose, arms at your sides. Focus on your breathing, mouth closed, breath steady and confident in and out, exhalations and inhalations even, coaxing a gentle, ocean-like sound from the base of your throat. This sound will be your guide. Breathe in, sweep your arms overhead. Exhale, bring your palms together, head back, gaze between your hands. Inhale, fold from the hips, flat back as you stretch forward, and exhale, relax your arms and torso, hanging toward the floor, standing forward bend. Place your fingertips on the floor by your feet, and as you breathe in, open and lift your chest. Gaze slightly forward. Bend your knees, and breathe in, step your right foot back, exhaling to a lunge, left heel down. Place your palms on the floor, chest broad. Breathe in, step your left foot beside your right, and come down to your knees. Place your knees a couple of inches behind your hips, toes under, table pose. With your head at shoulder height and your shoulders above your wrists, flatten your back by elongating your spine from your lower ribs to your tailbone and curl your tail slightly toward the floor. Can you feel how this pulls your abdomen toward your spine, thus supporting your lower back? Ideally, your lower back becomes as flat as a tabletop. Squeeze your elbows to your sides. Now, press down with your hands and feet and inhaling, scoop your chest down and forward along the floor, sliding through your arms and up to upward facing dog pose, straightening your elbows, press your feet into the floor and straighten your knees. Pull your shoulder blades back and breathe steadily from the throat. Bring your knees back to the floor, push to table pose and turn the toes under. Now breathe in, press down with your hands as you lift your hips high, and with the knees deeply bent, exhale and push your hips back over your heels, bringing your head between your arms. Steady breathing. Inhale, step your right foot between your hands. You can haul it up there if necessary. Straightening your left knee, open and lift your chest, gazing forward. Steady breathing, mouth closed. Inhale, step your left foot forward and exhale to relaxed, standing forward bend. Bend your knees if your back or hamstrings hurt. And rest. Place your fingertips on the floor and breathe in, opening the chest and looking forward. Breathe out, bend your elbows, pulling your belly toward your thighs. Relax your neck. Breathe in, raise the chest as you sweep your arms overhead, standing upright. Lower your hands to your chest. Namaste. Notice your breathing. Steady ocean sound. Steady exhalation. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, join your palms, gaze between the hands. Breathe in, hinge from the hips, and with a flat back, sweep forward and down. Exhale into a relaxed, standing forward bend. Bend your knees and place the palms on the floor about shoulder width. Inhale, lift the chest and step your right foot back to a lunge. Pull your upper right thigh muscle toward the bone to help lengthen and extend the back leg all the way to your heel. Press down through your hands and open the chest as you breathe in and step your left foot beside the right. Breathe out, bringing your knees to the floor to table pose. Let's turn things up a notch. Press down with your hands and feet and breathe in. Lift your knees, raising your hips just to the level of your shoulders, and breathing out, straighten your knees. This is plank pose. If you can't straighten your knees without your hips rising higher than your shoulders, simply step your feet back. Steady breathing. Come back down to your knees. Keep your arms straight and turn your inner elbows forward, rolling your collarbones up. Keep your back flat and gazing forward. Breathe in. Straight body comes forward. Breathe out. Bend your elbows to yoga push-up with the knees on the floor. Inhale, swing your chest through your arms, push your elbows forward and roll over your toes to upward facing dog pose. Ground your feet and straighten your knees. Steady breathing. Breathe in, the chest expands. Support your lower back in this back bend by breathing out and drawing your lower abdomen in. Breathe in as you push down with your hands and lift your hips. Roll over your toes to downward facing dog pose. Feet hip-width apart and parallel. Bend your knees deeply, press your palms down, and push your torso toward your hips. Position your head between your upper arms. Keep your shoulder blades wide by rolling your outer arms down, straight elbows. Use a full breath out to extend your heels toward the floor, moving your inner thighs into the space behind you and straightening your knees. Inhale, step your right foot forward. Exhale to a lunge. Pull your front left thigh into the bone, lengthening the left leg toward the heel. Open your chest and roll your collarbones up. Is the sound of the breath still steady inside? Inhale, step forward with your left foot. Exhale, straightening your knees. Relaxed, standing forward bend. Just let your torso hang. Place your fingertips on the floor as you inhale, lifting the chest. Look forward. Exhale, bend your elbows, pulling your belly to your thighs. Relax your neck. Breathe in, lift the chest, sweep your arms overhead and stand upright. Join the palms, gaze between your hands. Inhale, release the arms. Exhale to mountain pose, palms together at the chest in Namaste. Steady your breathing. Concentrate on breathing out. One more cycle. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, join the palms, gaze at your hands. Inhale, hinge from the hips with a flat back, bend forward. Exhale, hang in relaxed, standing forward bend. Fingertips to the floor, bend your knees. Breathe in, lift the chest, and step your right foot back. Exhale to a lunge. Pull your upper thigh to the bone, lengthening the back of the leg to the heel. Open your chest and roll the collarbones up, dropping your shoulders away from your ears. Steady breathing. Press down with your hands as you breathe in and step your left foot back. Exhale to plank pose with the feet hip-width apart. Broaden your chest, collarbones up, shoulders over wrists, Hips no higher than shoulders. Gently tuck the tail to draw the abdomen in. As you inhale, turn your inner elbows forward and taking your body, straight as a stick, several inches forward. Exhale, bend your elbows, lowering your body 2 inches from the floor, yoga push-up. Inhale, sweep the chest forward and up. Roll over your toes to upward-facing dog pose, supporting your lower back by pulling the abdomen back and up. Breathe in, press down with your hands, push back through plank pose. Exhale, roll over your toes, downward-facing dog pose. Steady your breathing. Breath out as long as the breath in. Remember, you can consciously steady the sound of your out-breath to help steady your whole body. Your shoulder blades are broad. Arms actively press into the floor to push your hips back over your heels. Ears between the arms. Breathe in, step your right foot forward. Breathe out to your lunge. Pull your upper left thigh to the bone to lengthen the back of the leg. Radiate open from the core of your chest and lift your collarbones looking forward. Step forward with your left foot as you breathe in, and breathing out, straighten your knees into relaxed standing forward bend. This is a resting pose. Slow your breathing down. Restore equilibrium. Bend your knees, place your fingertips on the floor, and as you inhale, lift your chest and roll your collarbones up. Breathe out, bending your elbows, pull your belly and perhaps your lower ribs toward your thighs, relaxing your neck. Breathe in, lift the chest, sweep the arms overhead. Breathe out, palms together, gaze between your hands. Inhale, lower your arms. Exhale, mountain pose with your arms at your sides. Stand in mountain pose at the end of your mat. Turn and step your feet wide, arms at shoulder height. Position your ankles below your wrists, shortening your stance if your knees hurt. Hold your hips and focus on your breathing. Mouth closed, confident, steady pace. A distinctive ocean-like sound in the base of your throat. Pivot your right leg out so your knee and toes face the end of the mat. Turning your left foot and hips slightly to the right, lining your heels up with each other. Coordinating movement with breath. Breathe in, sliding your right hip toward your left leg as you bend your knee to a right angle, knee over ankle. Breathe out, bring your right arm inside the knee, fingers on the floor, pressing your arm against your knee. Steady breathing. Inhale, outer left foot down as you lift your chest. Exhale, pull your left ribs back, slightly tucking your tailbone, turning your head to gaze up. If your neck hurts, simply gaze ahead. Inhale, ground the outer back foot and extend your left arm to the ceiling, palm forward, side angle pose. Place your left hand on your hip. Breathe in. Lengthen your outer right hip away from your waist to straighten your right knee, placing your right hand beside your outer right foot or on your leg, triangle pose. Inhale, root the right big toe and left heel as you raise your chest. Exhale, pull your left ribs back, turning your head. Feel your spine spiral to the left. Extend your left arm to the ceiling. Each breath in expands the body. Each breath out polishes your pose. Inhale, turn toward the floor, placing your hands on each side of the foot. Step the back foot slightly forward, turning the leg in more, anchoring your outer back heel firmly to the floor. Level your hips by pushing your right hip away from the right ribs and lifting it slightly. Steady breathing, calm belly. Inhale, ground the outer left heel and right big toe as you raise your chest, moving your shoulders away from your ears. Lift the collarbones, letting them shine forward parallel to the floor as though they're headlights. Gaze at the front foot. Side stretch. Place your left hand beside your right foot and your right hand on your hip for revolved triangle pose. Stabilize your balance, right big toe and left heel firmly anchored, calm belly, steady exhalations. Breathe in, press your left hand down, the chest lifts. Breathe out, extend your right arm to the ceiling, pulling your right ribs up and back, feeling your body turn. Remember, left heel down, right hip away from the waist. Slowly begin to rotate your head to the right, to deepen the spinal twist further. Steady breathing. Inhale, turn toward the floor. Place your hands shoulder width apart on each side of the foot. Bend your right knee and step to downward facing dog pose. Feet hip width apart, wide shoulder blades. Press your hands into the mat to push the hips back, stretching your spine from head to tail. Exhale, move your inner thighs into the space behind you. Breathe in, step your right foot between your hands to a lunge, turning your left heel slightly toward the center of the mat and root it firmly to the floor. Right knee over ankle, right angle bend in the front leg. Navel, knee, and toes face the end of the mat. Breathe in, sweep the arms forward as you bring your torso up. Breathe out, warrior one. Ground your outer back foot as you lift your chest toward your chin. Breathe out, left side ribs forward, inner arms sweep back past the ears. Keeping your knee bent and facing the toes, turn your left thigh out and turn your torso to the left, sweeping your arms wide, hands above feet. Warrior pose 2. Check your alignment. Knee over ankle, knee facing in the direction of the toes. Gently curl your tailbone and relax your shoulders. Gaze to the right hand, but strongly extend your left. Breathe in, straighten your knee. Turn your feet parallel and lace your fingers together behind your back, palms facing each other. Breathe in, stretch your arms back and up, lifting the chest, head over shoulders, and bending forward from the hips. Breathe out, relax down, stretching your arms over your back toward the floor. Expanded leg, forward bend. Don't lock your elbows. You'll get a much richer experience in the shoulders if you keep them slightly bent. Release your arms, placing your palms on the floor below your shoulders. Straighten your elbows, looking up with your heart. Inhale, bend your knees, press down with your hands, and jump your feet, hip width apart. Exhale to standing forward bend, hands in the crooks of your elbows. Relax. Bend your knees if you need to. This passive pose assists easy breathing and rests the heart. The inverted nature of this forward bend especially helps exhalation, inviting the diaphragm to relax chestward. Slow the pace of your breathing down by focusing on the steady sound that each breath out makes. Remember, yoga is as much about undoing as doing. Cultivate mental clarity and inner calm. That steadiness supports even the most challenging asana. Inhale, standing up. Exhale into mountain pose. Stepping your feet wide, arms at shoulder height. Again, ankles below wrists, adjusting your stance if necessary. Hold your hips. Pivot the left foot out and the right leg and hips in. Heels line up with each other. Straight knees. Breathe in. Lengthen your outer left hip away from the waist as you bend your left knee. Breathe out. Left arm inside the knee. Fingers to the floor. Look at your alignment. Knee over ankle. Right angle. Knee and toes face the end of the mat. Press your arm against the inner knee to help maintain the leg's position. Breathe in, root the outer back heel and lift the chest. Breathe out, pulling your ribs back, tailbone slightly forward, and rotating your head to initiate the spiral that turns your whole spine. If your neck hurts, simply gaze straight ahead. Inhale, ground the back leg and extend your right arm to the ceiling, palm forward. Side angle pose. Turn toward the floor, placing your left hand by your outer left foot, right hand on the hip. Inhale, pull your left hip back to straighten your left knee. Triangle pose. Steady breathing. Root your back foot and lift your chest, breathing in. Breathing out, pull your right ribs back, spiraling head and navel toward the ceiling. Extend your right arm up. Your body expands like a sponge when you breathe in. Energy rushes through your veins as you breathe out. Turning toward the floor, bring your hands down, one on each side of the foot, stepping your right foot slightly forward and turning the leg in a bit more. Side stretch pose. Keep your right outer heel and left big toe securely anchored as you move your left hip away from your ribs to bring your hips side by side. Level them. Breathe in, lifting and opening your heart. Exhale, collarbones shine forward like headlights. Gaze at your foot. Place your right fingers by your left big toe, left hand on left hip. Steady breathing. Inhale, press down with your outer right foot, left big toe, and right hand to lift your chest. Strong out-breath stabilizes your stance. Breathe in, extend your left arm toward the ceiling, letting the action of the arms turn your body to the left. Left hip away from the waist. Revolve triangle pose. Slowly turn your head to gaze at your left hand. Don't sacrifice your stability. Standing poses establish a connection to the earth. Don't allow an overambitious twist to uproot you. Inhale, release the pose, bringing your hands back to the floor on each side of your foot. Exhale, step to downward facing dog pose, ears between the arms, smooth, steady breath. Transfer your weight from the heel of the hand to the base of your fingers and pull your forearms toward your elbows to open the wrists, reducing strain on that vulnerable joint. Broad shoulder blades. Roll your outer arms toward the floor, inner thighs into the space behind your legs. Inhale, stepping your left foot forward, left knee over ankle, right angle bend. Turn your right heel slightly in and root it to the floor. Inhale, sweeping your arms overhead, bringing your torso upright. Exhale, Warrior One. Steady breathing in this challenging pose. Inhale, ground the back foot, open and lift your chest. Exhale, inner arms back, right side ribs forward. Keep your knee bent as you turn your right thigh out, and turning your torso to the right, sweep your arms to shoulder height over your feet. Warrior Two. Check your alignment. Knee over ankle, knee facing toes, back leg straight, back foot rooted. Gaze at your left hand. Strongly extend your right arm. Inhale, straighten your right leg, turn your feet forward, hold your hips, and step your right foot to your left and turn to mountain pose at the end of your mat. Direct your gaze forward and down, bringing your weight to your left leg. Steady breathing. Breathe in, bend the right knee and raise the leg, holding your big toe with your index and middle fingers. Stretch your left arm out at shoulder height. Keep your gaze and your breath steady. Pull your left upper thigh toward the bone and lift the chest to make your body tall. Hug your right arm with your knee, rolling your outer right hip away from the waist. Breathe in, straighten your right leg halfway. Pause. Steady breathing. Upper left leg back, chest up. Breathe in. Begin to straighten the right leg more. Exhale, straighten it as far as you can without compromising the height in the left leg and spine. Hand to big toe pose. Breathe in, bend the knee, place the right foot on the floor, and return to mountain pose. Root the right leg and lift the chest. Pull your upper right thigh muscle into the bone. Do you feel how tall you get? Inhale, bend the left knee, hold the big toe, extending your right arm out at shoulder height. Lengthen your outer left hip away from the waist, pressing your left knee into the arm to center it. Breathe in, straighten your left leg halfway. Check your height, upper right thigh into the bone, chest lifting, breath steady. Inhale, slowly straighten your leg to a point where you can still maintain height in your spine, and pull your right thigh into the bone. Breathe in, bend the knee, breathe out, mountain pose. Hinge from the hips, bend forward and down. Place your palms on the floor and bend your knees. Inhale, step your right foot back to a lunge. Step your left foot back, plank pose. Collarbones roll up, flat back. Inhale, turn your inner arms forward. Shift your body forward and exhale, yoga push-up, body like a stick, 2 inches from the floor. Breathe in, chest sweeps forward and up. Roll over the toes to upward facing dog pose. Inhale, push through plank pose as you roll over your toes. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Rest on your knees, cross your ankles, and place your hands on the floor by your thighs. Press down with your hands and feet to lift your hips and knees toward the torso. Pendant pose. Inhale, pull the navel into the spine and pull your feet off the floor as close to your hips as possible. Swing your body forward and sit down. Simple seated position. Lie face down on your mat, extending your right arm out in front of you, and roll onto your right side, placing your left hand on the floor in front of your chest. Bend your elbow, resting your head on your hand, and look down the length of your body, lining yourself up as though on a fence rail, a straight line from right elbow to ankle. Once you've checked your alignment, bring your head back onto the same line as the rest of your body. Steady your breathing. Flex your toes, pressing the inner big toe joints together, and lengthen your tailbone away from your waist, curling it slightly forward toward the front hips, while at the same time drawing your uppermost inner thigh slightly back into the space behind you. These two movements basically cancel each other out, but it stabilizes your hips, and you may feel the action engaging muscles deep in your abdomen. This inner firmness stabilizes your lower back as well, allowing you to now bring your left arm alongside your body, extending your fingers toward your feet. This delicate balance, Vishnu's couch, can disturb your breathing, making it tentative, nervous. Steady yourself with the gentle balance of the tailbone and inner thighs coming together as though pulled together by magnets, as well as a steady out-breath. Slide your right arm behind your head, turning your head to the left, gazing at your hand. Correct your position if you've rolled back onto your buttocks. The balance in this pose is on the round bone of your outer hip. Again, stabilize your pose with your exhalation. Breathe in as you release and rolling to the other side. Stretch your left arm forward. Bend the elbow, resting your head on your hand. Look down the length of your body, lining yourself up as though on a fence rail, straight line from elbow to ankle. Keep your right hand on the floor until you establish your balance, and make this as delicate a balance as possible. Again, lengthen the tailbone away from the waist, curling it gently forward. Inner thighs gently back, forming a firm base that stabilizes your hips and lower spine. Bring your right arm alongside your body, extending your fingers toward your feet. Again, notice how instability makes your breathing nervous. Find your inner calm with a steady out-breath. Slide your hand behind your head, turning your head to the right and gazing at your fingers. Don't try to make this pose easy. Learn to balance as though on a tightrope. Inhale, turn toward the floor, placing your hands palms down by your ribs, and turn your toes under. Bring your elbows in, and again, strong action, tailbone away from the waist curling forward, inner thighs back to stabilize your core, this time flattening the back. Curl your collarbones up. Check, flat back. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, push strongly down with your hands and feet, pushing your elbows forward, straightening your arms, and lifting your torso straight and solid as a stick to plank pose. Steady breathing. Push to downward facing dog pose. Come back to plank pose. Turning your right leg in, press your outer right foot into the floor and try to root the big toe joint as well. Come forward until your shoulder is almost over your wrist, so your arm is angled slightly forward. Bring your left hand to your hip, and for the moment, keep your left toes on the floor. Adjust the distance between your hand and foot so that your hips are no higher than your shoulders. In fact, as you now inhale and press down with your right hand, you'll lift your chest higher than your hips. Again, press down with your right hand and big toe, chest lifts, tailbone forward, inner thighs back, stable spine. Extend your left arm up to the ceiling, palm forward, gazing straight ahead. Steady your breathing. Feel your core support. Now bring your left leg alongside your right. Steady breathing. Turning your head slowly, gaze at your left hand. Concentrate. Come smoothly out of your pose. Inhale, release. Exhale to plank pose, turning to the left. Press the outer left foot into the floor and try to ground the big toe joint. Keeping your right foot on the floor for the moment, right hand on your hip, measure your stance. Enough distance between your hand and foot that your chest will be higher than your hips. Inhale, press strongly down with your hand, lift your chest. Exhale, tailbone forward, inner thighs back. Strongly ground your left arm and foot, extending your right arm to the ceiling, gazing straight ahead. Now bring your right leg alongside your left. Stable back. Inhale, begin to turn your head, gazing up at your hand. Concentrate. Inhale, release, exhale, back to plank pose. Come down to your knees, swing your feet to the side, and lie down on your back with your feet flat on the floor, hip-width apart. Join your hands behind your head, widen your shoulder blades, and bring your elbows to the floor. Press your head ever so slightly against your hands. Don't overdo it. You don't want to compress your neck or have your chin jut up. Imagine for a moment lines of movement running from your side ribs, down, crossing at your navel, and anchoring deep in the inner hips. Pinning both your sit bones and lower back to the floor. Keeping your upper body in its fixed position, head in hands, shoulder blades and elbows wide, head pressed gently back. Inhale, lift the chest to pull your upper body off the floor. Exhale, pull your navel to your spine, and as though someone is pulling your side ribs, rise a little higher. Release, coming all the way to the floor, and relax for a moment. Again, head in hands, shoulder blades and elbows wide. Feel as though strings are attached to your side ribs. Inhale, chest rises, pulling you off the floor. Exhale, side ribs pull you up, navel pressing into the backbone. Don't use your arms. Can you pull one more set of ribs off the floor using your side ribs? Down you come to rest. Now turn onto your side and sit up. Place your feet on the floor about hip-width apart in front of you. and hold the backs of your knees. Lengthen your spine from the pelvic floor to the crown of the head. Move your front hips away from your navel to pull your lower back toward the front body. Shifting your weight back as little as possible, take your feet off the floor. Rolling your front hip bones down to the floor, raise your feet to the level of your knees, pushing your navel towards your legs. A surge of energy like a laser from the pelvic floor to the heart. Inhale, straighten your knees as much as you can. Exhale, push the navel towards the legs. If you lose this core lift, bend your knees again slightly. Now breathe in and slowly let go of your knees. Exhale, extend your arms straight forward, palms face each other. One good breath. Breathe in, chest open and lifting. Breathe out, navel pushing towards the legs. Bend your knees, feet to the floor. Join your hands behind your head, elbows wide, and gently round your back. Navel hugging the backbone. Heart open, elbows wide. Slowly lower yourself, breath by breath. Breathe in, you pause. Breathe out, your navel pushes you a little lower until your shoulders are as close to knee level as possible. From that position, inhale, raise your feet to knee level. Exhale, straighten your feet to eye level. Steady breathing, one strong breath. Inhale, feet to the floor. Exhale, navel to legs. Release your arms and swing your feet to the side, coming up to a simple squat. Place your feet hip-width apart, arms between your legs, palms down. Come up onto the balls of your toes, hips resting on the heels if possible. Bring your arms between your legs, palms down on the floor. Now breathe in, pulling your inner thighs up to the side ribs and your knees to your shoulders. Breathe out, suck your navel into your backbone, rounding your back and raising your hips to knee level. Once again, inhale, pulling your inner thighs to your side ribs and knees to shoulders. Exhale, suck your navel to your spine, rounding your back. Hips at knee level, no higher. Come down to rest. Knees on the floor. Or even child pose. Let's do that again. Come up onto the balls of your toes, arms between your legs, palms down. Breathe in, pull your inner thighs to your ribs, knees to shoulders. Stare at the floor. Breathe out, suck your navel to your backbone, rounding your back and raising your hips to the level of the knees, no higher. Breathe in, inner thighs up, raise your arms to shoulder height, extending them forward. Breathe out, suck the navel into your backbone, rounding your back. Release, knees to the floor or child pose. Onto your toes again. Arms between your legs. Drop your shoulders, bringing one upper arm and then the other under your upper shins. Place your hands mat-width apart, elbows no wider than your hands, and press your arms into the shins to lift your chest and shoulders up again. Don't lean over, and again, breathe in, pull your inner thighs to your side ribs. Breathe out, suck your navel to your spine, rounding your back and raising your hips to knee level. Don't lean over. Keep your chest lifting, gaze forward. Breathe in, push off from your feet, and push your elbows forward, scooping your chest up, bringing it forward. Exhale, navel to backbone. Breathe in, straightening your elbows. They're over your fingers now as your navel sucks into your back. Now pull your feet up into your hips. You're in Bakasana, crane pose. Elbows straight, chest forward and up, steady breathing. Breathe in, bend your elbows, feet back on the floor. Rest on your knees and come to child pose. Relaxation pose. Lie on your back with your legs outstretched and relaxed. Your arms 6 to 8 inches away from the sides of your body, and your head on the floor or a folded blanket if you wish. If your lower back is uncomfortable, roll up a blanket underneath your knees. Now close your eyes and turn your attention once more to your breathing. Now feeling your breath, a gentle inner rhythm. It's soothing, like rain on the roof, coaxing your body to relax. Feel your whole body sink into the floor. Imagine that you're lying on the beach in wet sand, and the heaviest parts of you sink, leaving deep impressions like footprints. The back of the skull heavy, sinking into soft sand. The shoulders heavy, sink. The floor seems soft behind your shoulders. Let your lower back ribs relax. Not pressing them down, but letting them hang like garlands. Your belly organs sink back. Hips too. The backs of your legs, your calves. Leave deep impressions in the wet sand. And your heels and the backs of your hands, heavy, falling. Your whole front body sinks into the back body. Your face into the back brain. Soothing, rhythmic breath. coaxing you to release more. Habitual tensions can creep back in unnoticed. Take your attention to a common place where you know you hold tension. Back of the neck, perhaps, lower back, heart. Let them drop. And as your body falls, becoming heavy, the inner body, your subtle body, is free. It's light and radiates through your skin like a gentle mist. Everything comes to this, surrendering the form, the flesh and bone body, and freeing the subtle body. Remain aware of a sense of inner space. Look around inside your body, and with that inner awareness, slowly begin to reopen your eyes.